It's a Wednesday night, chilly, chilly and bright. Let me get my phone out of my pocket. Hi, guys. It's Wednesday. It's a good excuse to go live. And for us down here in the South Florida area, this starts the big slide. The big slide down into the cold. All right, so it's actually cold in here. I have to wear a sweater. I do feel chilly. It's a chilly day. Let's see. Are we live? We might not be, we might be. We're going to have to see if we're live. Checking the cameras. Yeah, visibility, it says public. Public. Okay, so. According to the weather, how come we're doing so much with the weather? According to the weather reports, today is the beginning of our slide. Let's go back to the studio so I can see what's going on. And go to my live broadcast. And there we go. Okay, put that to sleep. All right. I'm actually ready now. All right, so where's I had it open. All right, today is the beginning of our slide here in Miami, South Florida, really. For the cold type of weather that we'll get maybe once a year, and maybe not even every year, but it's going to be. Today is what, Wednesday? All right, so Friday we'll do a show, and wait, Friday will be the slide. So today is going to have a low of 44. Tomorrow, 48. Friday, when we do the live show, it'll be a low of 58. So it'll be in the 60s, low 60s, and high 50s. But after the live show on Friday, starting Saturday, maybe Saturday afternoon, we start a slide into the 30s. We have a projected low of 32 degrees. For our Sunday night here, and then Monday night 33 degrees. And since I'm inland from the beach, it'll be a little bit cold, so we could, if it rains, let's see. No, sunny. I was gonna say, if it rains, I might be outside playing in the snow, and that would be freaking awesome. All right, I made my coffee. I think of Randy, and now I think of Roy every time I do this coffee deal. I only put a quarter of a cup of spoon of instant coffee, because I have a tendency to get so relaxed during these shows, I get sleepy. And not just a little bit of sleepy. I mean, I get sleepy like when you used to see the presidents, all of them, will be, while there's somebody else giving a speech, they'll be sleeping or something like that. So we will start Sunday. I thought tonight was the beginning of the slide into the cold. So I did winterize our house, which means I put up a like a drape, but it really is a blanket. It's not a drape. It's a blanket, you know. and closed off the living room and dining room area because that's where the front entrance is. When my parents built this house, they made like a foyer, a sunken living room, dining, New York style. We came from New York, so they do that type of thing here. I mean, they replicated that kind of thing here. They don't do that here in South Florida. You walk right smack into the living room. Everybody's watching TV. Hi. Up north, it's got like many times it'll be a double door. They'll have like a coat where you can hang your coat closet and stuff, and it'll be a front door. Then a little room, not very big, very little. You can't even hardly turn around. You could basically turn around, but I mean, it's not a room. So on the one side of ours, if I can remember it as a child, was an umbrella bucket. I used to call it a spit bucket. I don't know where I got that idea from, but as a kid, that's what I did. I'm sure I was a handful. So, but on the other side was a closet door. When you opened the closet door, it was like all the hangers, and you'd come, and we were always full of relatives and guests coming, and they would take off their coats, and they had coats that went all the way down their feet, past their knees, closer to the ankles. You know, the rich or more expensive ones were they had like a fur on it. I was a kid, so I can't remember that well. I just remembering the different stuff. So they would hang the coats and everything in that closet. Now, that closet had a bare floor because I'm saying because like I know what I'm talking about, and I don't. I'm sure my mother and father or any of you guys from up north would correct me, but I'm assuming the snow and whatever's on the jacket would drip to the floor, and you didn't want to have it carpeted in there. A guess? Good guess? Okay. So, stirring my coffee up. So, did I remember to plug in the overhead camera? There's only one way to tell. Honest to God, there's only one way to tell. There it is. I'm praying now. Boom. About you. So this is the Sony A7V. Boy, I ran this Christmas room for 2 years on the Sony A7 Mark III, if that's what they called it, a Mark, but the A7 III, A7 Mark III. And it gave me an amazingly good picture, and it opened my eyes to Sony. So what is different about this compared to the 4? Now, I've had my hands on the 4. I've never owned the 4, and I don't own this one. This one's a loaner. But this is what the 5 actually looks like. I'll move my hands over here. And when you compare this to the Mark IV, and they're almost identical. There might be a button here or there. So right off the bat, the biggest number, I should make a video, at least a short. You know what a short is? Is this LCD screen here. Now maybe 10, maybe longer now, maybe 10, 15 years ago. The cameras, I might even still have one here. I'll have to look, but I'm not getting up now. They would flip out like this, okay, and they would flip up like this. Now we don't have that today. If you have, I don't know why I didn't bring the FX2 over here. All right. So if you had this like on the D800E, which I shot a lot of weddings with the D800E, it was a really good camera, to be honest with you. Okay. So you could hold the camera like this, and you could pull this out and look down. See, now you can see the ceiling. Let's see if I can show you the There it is. You can't tell what that is up on the ceiling. Okay, so you can look down, and yes, on this one you can even pull it out and do that, so it's not hiding underneath the viewfinder, the eyepiece for the viewfinder. But you could also tilt it up, meaning you could hold the camera way up over your head, take pictures of when, like, I would do a lot of Greek weddings, so many times I needed to get the camera up, but I can't see the LCD screen here. Okay, there we are. But if I tilted it down like that, I could hold the camera way up and see how it's tilted down. So that's what the cameras used to do years ago. They would tilt down like that. They would tilt in that direction. So you could put it in your lap like this, and you could be shooting and nobody would ever know. You just take a look down there and it's like, okay, I could see exactly what's going on. So you take that, and then on top of all that, add the ability to still flip it out. You got something very unique. So as soon as I've read about it, and people go, how nice it is, and this, and I'm going like, what's the big deal? This is one of the biggest surprises with me holding this in my hand and seeing that I've got something that I used to shoot years ago with weddings. Many times I'd hold my hands way, way, way up high, way up here, okay, and have the camera in there because I'm short. So when I'm in a group of people and they're dancing and stuff, you're going to have a hard time getting all the people. Or if you're at a party and they're all crowding around, well, you could raise the camera way up over your head and you could tilt this. This is as far down as it tilts. Okay? And then you could still turn it around and face it forward. So it's like everything in one. What is that? 2 mints? 2 mints in one? You know? This was one of the biggest surprises. Now, would you buy a camera just for that? Well, if it was an important feature to you, yeah, the answer is yes. Because many people have one specific feature that they like. And because of that one feature, they will buy that camera. And you know what? That's a blessing. When you think about it, that is a blessing. Because if you know what you want, you got it. All right? So now that I'm giving you praise on the camera, how about something negative? The damn dangly things are back. What is it with this? My FX2 doesn't have this. No, they've got the bar built right into the body on this side. The same thing on this side, but it does stick out like a towel bar. On this one, they got these. They did put little black over clips on them, so you wouldn't go jingle, 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 dangling like your bits are dangling and making noise, because I never liked that. Okay, so that's my. It sounds very shallow, but that's the very first thing I realized. First, the dangling things are back, because I don't have a camera with the dangling things. Maybe the A7C Mark II has those, and they're on here too. So on the FX2 that I have, no, they're not. They're not on there. But that's a minor thing compared to how awesome this flip-up screen is. The flip-up screen is actually quite a big surprise at how useful it is. And yes, people have been singing its praises and saying how wonderful it is. I just didn't believe it, you know. But now that I experienced it, I really wish that my FX2 had this screen on there. FX2 Mark II, when they come out, I'm hoping that the cameras that command a pretty good price, the $2,500 and $3,000 club now will have a screen like this, because this screen makes it really, really special. The dangling things make it really, really stupid. Okay? But I will say they put silencers, they put mufflers on it. So there is a muffler on here, and if I stick it out, let's see, turn it this way so you can see it sticking out. Let me put my hand up. So you see it sticking out? It stays in it's sticking out like that. Like that, okay? So, and it stays. However, I don't know. I think I gotten so used to their newer built into the body strap loops that is something that I would probably look forward, to having. Okay, so I have my Sony 10 to 20 G lens on here. It is a crop center lens. The camera handled it beautifully. Let's turn the camera on. Let's see if I got, you'll see. There it goes. You see how I came on? Now I'm aiming it at the light. Okay. So the menu system is, I would say, almost identical to the FX2. I was actually going over a menu by menu to see what they have. The other very nice, very appreciated, should have been on the camera 100 years ago, is the camera now has the, I pull this open, it's got a full-size HDMI port, which for this room, I have 4 cameras broadcasting right now in 4K. They're all going into my my Studio Mac M2 computer, and mini full-size HDMI. So the Olympus, which is 8 years old, has got a mini HDMI. The little baby ZV-1's got a mini HDMI. The Lumix, which we will, it's 2 cameras away, has a full-size HDMI. So right now, the one I'm talking to you on through is the ZV-1. Yeah, there's tags in the upper right-hand corner. You can see what camera is on there and what it's broadcasting at that time, at least on this show, okay? I don't do it on every single show, but on this show I have that turned on. And so the interesting thing is I thought and still think, okay, I thought and still think that the FX2 is probably the best camera you could buy for your money right now, but this would be equal to it. Like my friend, my buddy, my pal in Texas has this camera, and Jim Mundy in Virginia has this camera, and they're both liking it very much. Randy's using his a lot. Jim Mundy hasn't used it that much, but when he does use it, he's going to love this camera. So here's something that maybe a lot of you won't understand what I'm about to say. There was something about a Canon camera 15 years ago, okay? There was something about a Canon camera 15 years ago, 10 years ago. The camera, regardless of the internal politics of the company and whether you like the management and their choices and whether they gave you 4K or they didn't, or they gave you cameras that were overheating, Canon does a lot of things that I don't like, okay? But there's something about a Canon camera when you get your hand and you open it like that and you grab the Canon camera, the camera just feels right. It's just something special about the camera where it is ergonomically, it feels solid, and it's not just the feeling of the camera feeling solid, All right, so you younger guys that don't have the experience of using a Canon camera and you're using Sony's and other cameras, and the Nikon camera also had that feeling too. But the Canon camera just, it fit your hand like a glove. And I'm not talking about size, I'm talking about the usefulness, the solidness, not heavy, but the solidness of the camera was just, and still is. It still is. They didn't throw that away. Okay? Now, for the first time this year, well, this is a brand new year. Last year, this year. Okay? The FX2 and now this camera. When you pick it up, this feels like a camera, not a computer. Okay? Sony had the feeling like my A7 Mark III. This is the A7 Mark V. So this is 2 more iterations of this camera after my Sony A7 Mark III. That camera was much more computer. I would feel very uncomfortable grabbing that camera and going out and shooting a wedding. I don't know if I'm getting the flavor of what I'm trying to say across. I feel, and I've only had this camera since, when did this come in? Yesterday? Okay. Or was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Oh, this is Wednesday. So it was Tuesday. It was yesterday. Duh. I'm thinking today is Friday. I'm messing my own schedule up because normally I'm live on Friday, but I've been doing a lot of Wednesday shows lately. All right. So I've only had it in my hand a few days, but I remember there was some point either yesterday afternoon or this afternoon where I got that feeling where I recognized it, and I said to myself, this camera feels right. This camera feels very, very good. You know, I'm surprised because maybe that's one of the things that I happen to like on the, let's move this out a little bit. It's too in your face. Oh, I probably bumped it up too much when I turned it on. This will not remember where I last left the zoom. So I'll get it just perfect, but then I have to do it again every time I want to go live. So I just kind of zone it in, and then I use what what you guys just saw me do to tune it in. Okay. So on Friday we'll talk about the overheating factor, on why I think they have solved the overheating problem. I'll give you a quick hint. It looks like they mimicked what Apple did when they moved from Intel to the M chip, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that on Friday, and I'll have a little more hands-on with this. Maybe I'll even put this on live on Friday, or maybe not. We'll see. I do have to make a couple of videos for the big channel with the A7V. So the A7V is probably, like Jim Mundy said to me, he said, Peter, and I said, what? He said, I like the viewfinder eyepiece in the center. I like the hump. I like the traditionalness of the A7 IV that he has. So when it was time for him to upgrade, I told him, you need to buy an FX2. And if I personally, okay, so this is a personal statement and not a you've got to buy this or you got to buy that, okay, statement. Because I would still choose the FX2 if I was going to make the purchase today. I thought maybe I would go for the Mark V, okay? So I have been comparing them. You want to know one of the things that I like about the FX2 over the A7V is, believe it or not, even though the FX2 has a fan built into the camera with extra weight, because when you build a fan into the camera, you have to pull all this away from the body to give room, because that fan is basically cooling off the sensor, which is in behind this wall. Okay, and I've been saying it over and over and over that this being so flat is a waste of space, where it should be ribbed with very tight ribs, okay, as a heat sink. And it probably is acting like a heat sink just in its flat surface. Okay, so they still created it flat. And I think that's a mistake. I think that this should be ribbed rather than being an ice skate or a griddle that you can make pancakes on. This flat piece, I'll turn it this way so you can see it a little bit better. This flat piece, it's not glass, that's plastic. It's so flat, it's shiny. The rest of it, the camera has got like a matte finish. This part here that I was just showing you is as flat and silky smooth as this LCD screen here. So, but they put in thermal management on the A7V. And, you know, the people have been trying and trying and trying to get the camera to overheat, and they haven't done it. They'll run it at 60p until the battery dies out, and it won't die out. It just stays. So it becomes a statement that you can legitimately make. It's going the wrong way. A statement that you can legitimately make and say, they have basically overcome the heating problem. Now, they don't talk too much about it, and I'm guessing the reason is Canon needs to do the same thing. So this has the basic standard stuff that you would expect with the Sony cameras. It does do the gyro information, and I can flip this around like this, and I can go like this, and I can vlog. Let's do it this way so you guys can see me. Okay. So I can look at the camera like that and vlog at the camera. I can see myself here. And it's a little bit heavier than the FX2. And I'm just, not a lot. I can't say that one feels like a brick and the other one is so much lighter. They're very close. But you know what? When I bring the two and I put one in each hand, yeah, I can feel, if I put them on a scale, this is going to be just a little bit heavier than the FX2. Now, that's not the main reason, okay, that I would go with the FX2. The FX2 is more, even more developed than this one for the video on the anamorphic and stuff like that. I get the suspicion that the FX2 probably outdoes the A7V on photography, but you're not missing anything. I mean, anything that I've gone to do just quickly, I can find it because I'm getting to know these menus very well. They've updated the menus, and they're kind of like if you know the Nikon menu, I mean the Canon menus, where everything is across the top and then everything is comes down. All right, well, picture the Nikon one where they turned it sideways, and as you go down the menu, it opens up to the right on the LCD screen. Well, this is mimicking the Nikon layout. So it comes down, it comes out where everything is on this side. I don't think you can see it. Maybe if I put the overhead camera on. You really can't see that, can you? Oh, that's another thing I don't like. See over here where the menu button is? On the FX2, I can run everything with my one hand and the one finger on this side. The menu button is here. The joystick is here on this one, which is nice. I like the joystick there. Okay. The joystick is up on the top on the FX2, but you could basically run the whole camera with your thumb. So this C3 button here, let me check real quick. All right, they didn't do it here, but I will remap the C3 button that's in this corner so that it will drop between full frame and the close-up. Trying to turn this so that I'm not giving you the glare. So everything is, let's get a pencil. Okay, so all the basic menus are down this way, the menu headings, and whenever you go to any of them, all of this will change. Nikon is like this. Now Canon does the same thing, but all of the main menu headers are across the top, like here. And then as you change the different menu headers on the Canon, all of this area fills up with whatever it is that you're looking at. All right, so let's come back over here, come out of the menu system. So my day and a half, it's basically a day because it came in the afternoon yesterday. But my yesterday and today with this camera, it's yeah, I'm glad that Jim got the camera and is not missing out on hardly anything. It doesn't have stuff like anamorphic. That would be in the FX2. See, Sony's got a mindset with the FX2 that it's aimed for a certain crowd, and they've got the wrong crowd. They really do. The FX2 is a general purpose hybrid camera, and they do the hybrid part very well. It's equal, okay, it's a dual camera, better than the word hybrid. Hybrid implies that they've added something on. So the FX2 is a full video camera, cinema, do movies and all kinds of stuff like that. And if you never make movies, there's some people, how many people have you heard go like, I don't do video, I only shoot pictures? Well, the FX2 is fully developed for pictures. This is like that also. So as a matter of fact, on the FX2, you get a button on the back where you can switch back and forth between video mode and stills mode. On this one, they have it still built into the top over here, like their E10s and the other cameras that are the humpy style cameras. Okay, the viewfinder is built into the center. All right, but with the FX2, you can just glance at it, and you'll know if you're in movies or stills. And the interesting thing is, I haven't tried it with this, and I got a feeling it's going to do it perfect. I think it's going to do it excellently. Okay, I accidentally had it in stills mode. I hit the video button, thinking the camera was in the video part, and it does everything except shutter angle, and maybe it won't do LUTs, but it does everything else. On the video side, it gives you the full power of the processor for focusing, and I got a suspicious feeling that this puppy is going to do the same thing. So this is probably one of Sony's best cameras now in terms of everything being in one camera. I'm very, very pleased with it. Delicious iced coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but boy, I got attached to that iced coffee. So let's take a quick look and see who is in the house. Gregory, how did you get in there number one? Golly gee whiz, Batman. Getting ready for, yeah, it's going to be the coldest since 2010. I read the same thing. So 2010 would be 16 years ago, right? And South Florida is going to be the coldest that it's been since 2010. We're going into the, I said mid-30s, but I just read at the beginning of the show, if you didn't watch the beginning, they're scheduling, the wonderful weathermen, they are scheduling on the weather app on my iPhone that we're going to go get into 32 degrees for 2 days. And with me being inland, see, Miami Beach is way over there. And if you get on I-95 or one of the other major highways and then you cross over, you'll go to the west side where the airport is, okay? The west side of the county. So the airport is here. I'm just a little bit north of the airport, and most of Miami is around here. And then all the way around here, you've got 100 million bedroom communities. And all the way out here, where my fingers are dangling, okay, that's where Miami Beach is, all the way here. So if you drive from Miami Beach with my dangling fingers, and you drive all the way, and you come to the airport, and then just go north about 4 miles, that is about where this house is. So now it's in a bedroom community, but I just say Miami because people can understand. They won't understand all these little cities and their names. Plus, for security reasons, it's not that important. I mean, when I do shipping, all the information's available, but I don't just make it blurred out. And the whole area down here is called South Florida. So if you go from a little bit north of the Palm Beaches, from there all the way down to the Keys, it looks like one frickin' big, long city. If you're flying at night and you fly into this area, and let's say you're coming down from New York or somewhere up north, you'll go dark. It's dark out there. Isn't there any land or anything? And then all of a sudden you'll see a mound of all these sparkling lights, and it'll be Charlotte. And then blackness, darkness. And then you'll see all these twinkling lights. They're all clustered together if you're looking out the window of the airplane, okay? And maybe that's Savannah or Charleston, that area. Well, that would be South Carolina. Savannah would be in Georgia. Then you get into pitch black. It really is very pitch black, okay? And then you'll get into another cluster of lights, and that'll be Jacksonville. And then pitch black, nothing. And you'll see a few sparkling lights here and there, not a lot. And then all of a sudden, it's like somebody put up a gazillion strings of Christmas lights. And it starts from West Palm Beach. And for the next 45 minutes, well, maybe not that long, all those Christmas lights are on. So from Palm Beach all the way down to the beginning of the Keys where it turns black again. Okay. All of that area is from an airplane window at nighttime. It's amazing the land space that's taken up in the South Florida area. And, they got little cocoons of cities. Miami, North Miami, South Miami, Miami Beach, North Miami Beach, South Miami Beach, Dadeland, Kendall, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. I'm running out of names, but there's 1,000 of them up there. Plantation, Cooper City. I'm trying to think of the map up there. Fort Lauderdale. I like Cooper City. Okay, so when I move, it'll probably be to Cooper City. Or Sunshine Acres, Davie. See, all these names mean nothing to you. But if I say Miami, South Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, bingo, you know where I am. It's the same with most major cities. You go to Georgia, you got Atlanta. But do you know there's 100,000 little towns all the way around Atlanta? You got Marietta, you got Gainesville, you got Alpharetta. I mean, it goes on and on and on. But when you say, where are you from, what part? I'm in the Atlanta area, How about Los Angeles, L.A.? That's more famous. Or New York, okay, our new communist town. You got all these boroughs, but they're famous. If I say Brooklyn or Bronx, okay, or Harlem, you will recognize that. If I do that here, you won't recognize the little towns. So let's say all this started with Greg. Boy, Greg, you really tripped the trigger there, and that's because he's in the South. Oh, look, Howl is right up there next. I'm bundled in my blanket trying to stay warm. Howl is in South Florida also, and he's in one of these little towns, and so is Gregory in one of these little towns. So am I. Mr. Camera Junkie Luis is in one of these little towns. So they create townships, you know. One thing I do hate, and I hope they make them illegal, is HOAs. HOAs are horrible. No, I don't live in an HOA, but that's the first thing I ask when anybody's looking for a house. Oh, is that house? It's nice. Is it in an HOA? Yeah. Really? They're not that bad. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are. I like how the courts are ruling against them. And then Sammy is in New Jersey. Hi, Sammy. How you doing, big boy? You've had a little bit of cold weather there? Well, thanks for sending it down. What'd you do, put it in a box and send it to me? Well, it's going to arrive in a few days. Actually, it's cold enough now where this room got cold. Okay, I don't have to run the air conditioner or anything now, so the sound should sound pretty good. But Sammy's in the thick of the cold up there. But see, Sammy is used to it. He has walked in the snow. I haven't walked in the snow. I don't know what snow looks like. On pictures, yeah. The last time I saw snow for real is maybe 25 years ago when I visited my uncle in New York. And it was over the Christmas holiday, and the weather forecast was no snow, and I was so disappointed. And they laughed at me and this and that, but I woke up, I think the day after Christmas or the day before Christmas. And they put me to sleep in their living room because they have one of those couches that you pull out and there's a bar that goes right across your back. I think they all have that bar where if you lay down on that couch, you're going to find that bar, okay? And it's their house is famous for the couch with the bar in it. But anyway, they got a freaking huge picture window. So I woke up, I was sleepy, and I got to rub my eyes and all that kind of stuff, and I looked out that picture window because I like to sleep with the drapes open. I'm not a shy person, and I'm just wearing my boxers, okay? And I look outside, and oh my God, everything, it was like God came and painted everything with a paintbrush white. White. No distinction except from the door of the house, to the door of the house and then across the street. Where's the street? Where's the yard? Where's the sidewalk? Where's anything? Where's even the frickin' mailbox? Nothing. Well, I got up and I ran out the door in my underwear. And, 2 minutes later, I hear my uncle and my aunt screaming their heads off. They're up there with a blanket. We're not going to send you back to Miami to your dad and your mother dead because you froze to death. Oh, they wrapped me in a blanket and pulled me in, and I had to get dressed, and I went out and played in the snow. But I was so excited to see snow. Now, I would say the day after or 2 days later, we did go and drive around, and that snow turns really, really, really dirty. Like ugly, brown. Like the place is liquid poop, diarrhea. It's like goes from the most beautiful thing you've ever seen to, this is terrible, But I did everything. I did the angel in the snow. Yes, I peed in the snow. Everything that you would normally think about doing. So, speaking of snow, here's the opposite end. Roy is down in the heat. He's got a heat wave. He's got a heat wave in Australia. Good day, Peter. How you doing, Roy? Love you, buddy. Love everybody in here. Thank you for popping in on a Wednesday, no less. Well, it kind of breaks up the week. I respect that Canon still makes their own sensors. And then Roy says, 2 days ago, it was 49 degrees Celsius here. I should have tested the cameras. You would have had it. I got to wait till, well, we don't really have a spring. It goes from really cold enough to freeze your nose off to boiling hot again. Okay. So I don't know if I'm going to have the camera long enough for that. We'll find out. We'll both find out together. We'll both find out together. I like buttons much more than menus. Yeah, I do too. And the camera's got plenty of buttons. I like the Canon layout where with your eyes closed, you know the first button on the left, there is a button here. I'm sure there's two, okay? All right, and they're not what I was thinking. But with Canon, their basic layout, if you don't even have to wake up, the first one over here to your left, if you read left to right, is the white balance. Then the next one to the right, in the middle, is the ISO button. Then the next one over to the right is the exposure compensation button. Excuse me. Okay, so this one has a C2 here. Let me turn this on. Let me see what the C2 does. It goes to focus area. Now, I could say one thing for Sony that they are consistent with, and I discovered it by accident because we're not on that camera now, but when we get to it, this wheel in the back, I can show you. I've got the ability to show you. Okay? So over here, they always have the ISO right there to the right. ISO is right there. And then almost always, they have display on the top. And then these do change. Okay? So this wheel goes round and round, but you can also press it, and it becomes a button. So left, right. It might even have a between 45 degrees and 90 degrees. There might be something you can press there too, because it will rock there. And then of course you do have the center button, which my finger is covering it up. So if I raise that up so you can see the wrong way. Okay, so you see where it's showing you. Tilt it a little more. So you see the display is at the top here, and ISO is over here. That is basically the same as knowing with a Canon camera. You got usually 3 buttons across the front. Nikon mimics that. Actually, even the Olympus that I have. No, Olympus does not. I wish it would. Okay. But I love it when there's 3 buttons right across, and it's white balance. Then the next one is ISO, and then there's a third button over here, and that is the compensation, brighter and darker. Okay. Now, you know who does that? Lumix. Lumix has almost the same setup. And that is pretty interesting that the Lumix has the same setup. Now, you're getting the opportunity to see the dial over here. So you got the PASM, P-A-S-M. Trying to turn it away from the glare. All right, and then you have 1, 2, 3 presets, which I use. So the Christmas room is always set to when I get the settings just the way I want them. I always set it to number 3. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the Trinity. Okay. Well, I could do it to number 2 because that's Jesus' place in the Trinity. Or I could do it to number 1. That would be the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I have a tendency to spiritualize everything. Oh my gosh. That's just the way my mind works. Okay. So let's turn that off. So the camera is fully featured. Jim is going to like the camera. I know that Randy likes it a lot, but I haven't talked to Jim about it to see what he thinks. But I don't think he's had much of an opportunity, to use it. Got to knock myself off the air by putting the camera right on my mouse. The mouse goes there, the camera goes here. Okay, so we were with Roy. Okay, and then, Randy's awake. I thought he might have fallen asleep. I didn't see him. I like that the A7V has a sharp LCD tilty flippy screen. Yeah, that was the first thing I recognized, Randy. That, wow, this screen is nicer than I thought. Which flippy screen, which the cameras that I have used is the best? Yeah, I would say yes. I have not used an A9 III, which is a camera I like, or the A1 Mark II, which is another camera I like. Boy, you have good taste. Randy, you have good taste. I also like the locking on the camera, video, and the SQ switch. So Randy's going to over all the buttons. Okay? So, what do you mean by you like the locking? Oh, it does lock. Okay, so if you are in the stills mode or the video mode and you want to change it by just turning the dial, this particular dial you would turn with your finger, okay? But unless you press a button in, it won't move. Like if I move it now, I can't get it out of the stills. So it'll lock that down so that you don't accidentally move that. Now, a lot of cameras will have something way easy to touch, and it's not lockable. So that is a very nice feature to be able to lock it. One of these cameras, I don't remember which one, actually has a button on the back where if you press it to lock, it's up here. It's an icon, okay? You could turn it to the lock mode, and you could push buttons all day long. The camera is going to go, I am away. I went to Europe. Don't bother me. So unless you unlock the camera, you can't change it. That keeps you from accidentally changing things, which is a very handy thing. Bop, 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 bop. So Randy says auto framing and the cropping are excellent. A little slower when turning on compared to the ZR, but I like me the camera. So I think Randy has pretty much settled into Nikon and Sony. And he will play with other brands. Actually, he owned most of them. I think he's got the Leica. Do you still have the Leica, Randy, the Q3? So he's had Leicas and Lumixes and the S9. I mean, Randy has had tons of cameras. He's a frickin' camera store right in his house. I think we're going to get the ZR back here, and we'll play with it again and maybe compare it with the A7C. Not A7C, the A7V, the A7V. So Roy says, does the Sony retain the old settings when you change to and from video? Yes and no. Basically, I think you're asking if you set things up and you turn the camera off and then you turn it back on, will it be the way you left it? Yes. Clearly, yes. Not with a, I'm not sliding into home base. As a matter of fact, I just did that. What camera did I do that on? I think I did that on the A7C2. So if that camera does that, this camera will do it also. And then if it's something that's critical enough, set it to a preset. Nobody said you can't use the same preset over and over and over and over. So if you're on a particular project and you're shooting 100, high school kids, and you want the settings to be the same, I'll put it to a preset. Then your next job, you could be shooting your wife. Roy's got me picking on his wife. He does it, so now I'm doing it. You could put her on a preset. And no, that's my wife. That's my wife's setting right there. That's when I have to take a picture of my wife. I set it to that preset. So Roy says, or coffee ice cream. We have a company here, Roy, that, by the way, when I make this, the cream part of it is, where am I here? The cream part of it is a full scoop of my protein powder, which is vanilla. So that adds all the protein and the fats and the vitamins. So start with this water, okay? Then a full teaspoon of instant coffee that is decaffeinated, and then a quarter of a teaspoon of instant coffee because it's bigger than a glass. This thing goes to that's milliliters. It goes all the way to 3 cups, 24 ounces. So that's the equivalent of 8 times 3 area. Okay. So I a quarter of a teaspoon of caffeinated regular instant coffee, and then 1 teaspoon of Hershey's chocolate cocoa powder, the Dutch. They call it dark, but it basically is Dutch, and it makes it look very dark. Dutch, that process that they use to extract the the chocolate out of the beans. The one process is called natural. The other process is called Dutch process. The natural is 4 times as acidic, think heartburn, okay, as the Dutch process. So whenever I get a cocoa powder, I get a Dutch process because it lowers the acidity. I have all that in here. I have ice cubes. I sweetened it with monk fruit liquid, and I can get it just right, so it tastes perfect. And this is addictive. Like, I can't wait to have one of these, and all my life, I've never been a coffee drinker. Tea, yeah. Oh, I started to tell you, Roy. We have a company down in South Florida. Well, they're all over the country. But, there's a fast food place called Arby's Roast Beef. No, it's not good roast beef, okay? But they make a milkshake called a Jamocha. And it's a combination of coffee and chocolate. And it is one of my favorite shakes. I will go to an Arby's just to get a Jamocha shake, just like I will go to Chick-fil-A just to get a strawberry shake, or when it's in season, which is coming up now, they will have a peach shake at the Chick-fil-A that is out of this world. It's hard to imagine having just one, but yes, I do it. So this is my coffee, chocolate, ice, coffee, whatever you want to call it. Randy said, I got rid of the A7R5 since I have the A7C-R. Okay. The same sensor in both of those. One is much more compact. And the A7V is replacing the A9. Well, the A7V, yeah. That would replace almost anything you got there except the high, what do you call it? Megapixel cameras. The A7V offers uncropped full-frame 4K 6. What are you doing, Randy? Are you putting them for sale? He's giving me a full list of features. Okay, so it is uncropped full-frame 4K 60p, and you also get 4K 30p recording. And with 4K, you can have 120p utilizing an APS-C, which is a Super 35 crop sensor. Enabling the 4K angle of view priority setting is necessary for... Oh, you figured that one out. Good for you. Full width 4K 60p, which works by disabling in-camera noise reduction to maximize the field of view. Now that you said it, I remember that. If you turn that on, you get your 60p, but it disables the noise reduction in the camera. And it was Gerald Undone, okay? Remember we were talking about it, and I said I heard about it, but I didn't commit it to memory because I never shoot. I don't see a reason to shoot in 60p. It's a waste of space on my SD card. The 24p looks so much more natural. It's what you see in movies and when you go to the theater and when you get movies on Netflix and stuff. They're done in 24p. And it's a smaller file. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yet there's these people, and I can think of one right off the bat, and it's not you, Randy, okay, that thought 60p was the best thing since sliced bread. Now, what the advantage of 60p? What? Why? Why is 60p important? So someone like me that would shoot in 24p, why would 60p be important? Can you answer that? Who can raise their hands? Go ahead, raise your hands. Tell me. Who can tell me why 60p actually becomes important? 60p actually becomes important because that becomes your slow motion. You don't have to go through back to the S&Q and all these different frame rates. You reduce it down to 40% on a 24p timeline in Final Cut Pro or whatever your software is. You got slow motion. Wow. You do the same thing with 30p and 60p and reduce it to 50%, but there's just something super smooth and nice in the way it looks on a 60p clip and you drop it right into your slow motion. And your sound is all there where they drop. Some of these cameras will drop the sound. You don't get the sound if you go to 120p and stuff. Now, if you were going to do something like I did a few years back, where I dropped milk into a bowl of cereal, I would probably shoot that at 120p because I want the full, slowest motion I could get. I want that the milk is coming down, and then when it hits the cornflakes, poof, there's a splatter. Or if you're going to drop a strawberry like this into it and it splashes out, okay? I don't know if 60p would give you the satisfaction that a 120p would on the timeline. So I'd have to test that out to see. But whenever I need slow motion, I go over to 60p. No problem, okay? And you get the best of all the worlds in one. That's where 60p becomes important. So the Hard Rock guitar in Miami is the biggest light in Florida, which is located on an Indian reservation. That's because they are an Indian company. They don't have to, it's their own laws there. They sell cigarettes. As a matter of fact, people flock there to buy cigarettes without the, what's that huge tax. So the cigarettes are and cigars are significantly cheaper there because it is the Indian reservation, and they don't participate because they consider themselves a separate nation. And the politics of it, you figure that out on your own, okay? But it is very popular for that reason. And Randy and I and my brother George, we went there, to all three of us, to the guitar for dinner. So Randy has been inside that famous that famous guitar, okay? And at night, that sucker lights up. You still got any pictures? Did I take pictures on that? I must have, okay? So I'll have to look back on my channel and see if I posted that. Otherwise, they're in the archive somewhere. Yeah, so we went to the Hard Rock Guitar in Miami. It's the biggest light in Florida. You know what I remember when I went there that still sticks in my mind? Whatever I ordered, I don't remember what I ordered, but the French fries were the best French fries I've ever had. What the heck can they do to French fries to make them taste that good? They were crunchy and soft. They were perfect. I mean, I have never had a better French fry in my life. Did I give you some of my French fries, Randy? I don't remember if I did or not. But anyway. Roy is... no, it disables noise reduction, not IBIS. It disables noise reduction. And Gerald Undone makes an issue about that. And then he tells you what he would do. I wouldn't care. When I go to 60p on my FX2, everybody bitches and moans, oh, it's cropped. I don't have to give it a second thought. When I'm shooting with this lens, it's a cropped lens anyway. So the cropped, where they act like somebody shot them in the heart. What's that song? Shot in the heart and you're to blame. You give love a bad name. Who does that? Peter Frampton? No, not Peter Frampton. Bon Jovi. Ah! Boy. Almost forgot. Boy, they don't have good music on the radio anymore. Turn the radio on and it's like junk. Change channel. Junk. Change channel. Junk. Even the country station had better music, but they are better than everything else that's on the radio. Plus, here in Miami, half of the radio stations are not even speaking my language. So, but back then, years ago, we had really, really good music. Now, let me ask you a question. Is this the same generation gap that every generation goes through, where they don't like the music from the current generation? But when you went from the 40s to the crooners to the 50s, and then you got into rock and roll and the Beatles, and it's such good music. And then the 70s were stellar music. Now, the big stations down here, Y100, which is famous around the world, was one of the best stations in the world. I grew up going to sleep listening to Y100. They had the best disc jockeys. They made you feel like you were their friend. Now, it's like they're reading a script, you know. Everything is automated, and what they have to say is automated in terms of a script, where when I used to listen to the radio in my 20s and my teens, my age, I'm talking about age, the radio was connected to me. It's like you knew the guy that was talking to you. And you never met him, but you knew him. Kind of like what YouTube does now. Okay? I watch Kyle's Cabin, like I mentioned that a few times, or I'll watch somebody like Randy Brander, and I'll feel like I know the guy, you know. Well, I do know him. But and that happens to me too. And then when I talk to a YouTuber that I've watched for a long time, they don't know me, and I'm treating them like they're family. And they're going, boy, this guy is a fanboy times 10. That's just the way it is. So, Roy, it's noise reduction that gets turned off. And Randy answers you. Roy says, I just came out of the hospital to a heat wave and no power. Well, why were you in? Are things working okay over there? Or do I have to fly over there and take care of you? So, yeah. Have you gotten your power back? Last Friday when we talked, did I do a show Friday or was it Saturday? It was Sunday? Whatever the last show was, you said your power went out. So King says, major props to Canon for making their own sensors and for making lenses still in Japan. Yeah, I agree with that. But I think Sony is a Sony make what do you call it? Sensor maker too. I think Nikon buys their sensors from Sony, but they try to squelch that as much as they can. I'm not sure, but I don't think Nikon makes their own sensors. Nikon has fixed the ZR power button a little, but I much prefer a switch so I can remote power the camera. So what did they do with that? What did they change? Randy was just making a video on the power button. I need somebody to explain it to me. I could look it up, but it's much easier when you guys know. Just tell me, and then I'll know. I used to accidentally change the video switch on my Z9, by the way. I grabbed it. I grabbed it from the bag. Cameras can do that. So King says, are you picking up the Komodo X to Roy, or are you waiting for the Z9 Mark II? I think there's noise about the Z9 Mark II, isn't there? I'll have to go to Nikon Rumors and find out. So Roy says, neither. I'm pretty happy with the Z9, Z8, and ZR. Oh, Roy, you actually have a ZR in the house? You own that camera? Oh, I'm happy to hear that. So Roy and King are at it again, which is great. Just as great. Chocolate spoils the coffee. No, not for me. This tastes so wonderful. That's why you can't tell what a person likes. I like a little chocolate. I don't want it to taste like chocolate. Okay? But I'm done. Oh, please, just a little bit more. Where is that Star Trek replicator? Where is the Star Trek replicator? Get me another one of these. Make it a double. King says, I wonder what lenses we can expect for the Nikon Z this year. Well, Nikon is weak on like a 10 to 20, f4, 11 millimeter, f1.8. Now the good news is, Randy gave me that Megadap adapter, and he sent it over here, and it's still here. I never sent it back, and I could put all these lenses on the Nikon, which makes it wonderful. Even if you don't think so, I love it. So my Sony lenses go on the Nikon, and I'll have a Nikon ZR in here again. So it is going to get another round of, can it do this and can it do that? I don't know. Let's find out. So King says, Uncle Peter, what are your gym PRs, deadlift, squat, and bench press? King, are you behaving yourself? You calling me fat? You know I don't go to the gym. I'll do laps in the pool when I get in the pool, but there's no gym. Gonna lift no weights. I do the push away from the table. So that would be like a sideways push-up. Okay. So there is an exercise for older people that actually helps a lot. And you'll know what it is, King, as soon as I say it. Okay. And it's very easy for older bodies to do it. It's called isometrics. An isometric exercise is if you take your hand and hold it there and look at it for 48 hours. You've just completed an isometric exercise. If you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you, and I got buckets of sand from Miami Beach. Isometric exercise is when you take one muscle group and you push against it with the other. So you do that, palm against palm, and then you press intensely and hold it for whatever count you're going to do. And then when you release, okay, it first of all, it's building up your muscles. You will feel the muscles. It actually works. Isometric exercises are wonderful, and anybody can do it. The ladies, the older guys, and even the younger guys, isometric exercises will shoot you ahead. And you're only against your own weight, so you're not going to go beyond what you could push unless you blow your own muscles out because you're stupid. Just push. Okay? Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, do it in reverse. Grab each hand and pull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I feel my biceps. I feel whatever the hell these things are called. I felt the band right across my chest doing those exercises. And at 72, I just exercised with you, okay? And you would do a couple of groups. You do 3 groups of 10 or whatever your body can work up to. You do the same thing with your feet, okay? And wherever else you could push against your own muscle on your body, you can look it up online to get a list and people that will teach you how to do isometric exercises. But what is this deadlift? I no comprende. What squat? No, what is a squat? Is that the vegetable you put lemon and oil in the squash? And bench press? Bench press? Is that how you make the wine? I don't know what this is. I just can't tell you. I'm playing with you, King. Don't get upset. Roy and King are talking, okay? They're talking about lenses. Jim Monday, how is my cold, buddy? Midweek, Peter Gregg again? Yes, how lucky we are. Happy, I thought you were going to say happy birthday. It's not my birthday, but we could sing it. I haven't sung anything tonight. How are you doing, Jim? I know you got some, you're in the northwestern part of Virginia. Is that you or is that Woody in the western part? So anyway, yeah, is this the third time I've done the Wednesday show or the fourth time? I'm not committing to them. It's with whatever floats your boat, okay? Greg says slow motion. Dang, 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 the $6 million man. Roy, I only use 60p or 120p for technical videos. Oh, that's pretty cool. Randy, I love the smaller file sizes from the Sony. Yep. Nikon ProRes video files are bigger. That's because you're in ProRes. ProRes, the FX2 has ProRes. I will get the mother of all size files when I switch to ProRes. No, thank you. I will not do it. There's no reason for it. I mean, it's going to go on YouTube. It's going to go on whatever else is like YouTube. It's not going to go somewhere, even if you were going to sell it to somebody, their capabilities are not that high. So ProRes is, it feels good. Now I'll tell you which ProRes I use a lot. And that's when I use GyroFlow. So the GyroFlow is the software that allows me to stabilize my own videos after they're done. And all shaken, and it's all jittery and all that kind of stuff. Well, GyroFlow will stabilize that. Now, Sony's version of GyroFlow is called Think, Catalyst Browse. So Catalyst Browse, you could get that from Sony for free. There's no queue, means you can't do more than one file at a time. You've got to wait for one to finish, then you manually have to load up the next file. That's number one. Number two, it's only 8-bit. You cannot export 10-bit, even if you shot in ProRes, which you're not gonna. Okay, and it's 420. It's not 422. And then the final thing is it's in I forgot which codec they're using, but it's a very low grade codec. Now fix all that like with a magic wand. Boom, 422 10-bit output. You can output it to H.265. You can output it to H.264. You can output it to ProRes. Any one of the ProReses. All of that's in GyroFlow. None of that is in the Catalyst Browse. And GyroFlow has the queue. Just pop the all your clips in the queue and it'll do them one after the other. Bang, 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 bang. You don't have to sit there and babysit it. So people will complain, oh, well, I don't want to add extra work. Well, you put them all in there, walk away. Go do something else. Go play with your whatever new camera or lens you got on hand. Okay? Or go outside and play in the snow for a lot of you. But anyway, the point is you can load it up. It'll spit it out. And I use the ProRes. That's the one place I use ProRes. And I use the ProRes proxy because ProRes proxy is one step better than H.264 or H.265. And it's still quite a small file compared to, let's say, the HQ or the 444 on ProRes. So, but it'll do all those. If you're a stickler and you want every last drop of sweat that can come off of your face, okay, then you output in ProRes. And it will do that. So if you record in ProRes, it makes sense that you would want to output in ProRes so that you don't ever get to touch H.264. So Roy is talking to Randy and King and Randy, and they've got their little side chats going on here. And Carlos has popped in. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone is staying warm. Well, tonight I got a sweater on. It's we're just beginning our cold drop, and it won't start into the super cold. Colder than it's been since 2010. I read it, and I think it's Gregory that said it, or King. One of those two guys. Which one of them said it? I'll have to go back up and look, but it's not that important. It's going to be, it will not have reached that level of coldness in South Florida since 2010. 2010, my parents were here with me. My dog, Jingle Bells. Remember Jingles at the end of all my videos? Jingles would come up and people would say, I don't watch for you. I watch because I like to watch Jingles. Okay. Watch Jingles. See you back here. Oh, I love that. It was like my own kid. So Carlos is here. Love you, Carlos. Thanks for coming in. Say hi to Meg for me. And the kids. I know he's got a dog. King is talking to Roy. And Roy is talking to Carlos. Telling about his heat wave. Randy says, we have pictures of both of us in the Hard Rock Casino Restaurant Shopping Mall. I had one coffee only and got it at the end when it was the first thing I ordered. I remember that too. Oh, wow. So Randy, we all sat down, okay, and Randy ordered coffee right off the bat. Guess what the last thing was to come after the food came? And we were halfway through, and Randy would say, excuse me, would you remember to bring me my coffee? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I forgot. It never came. It wasn't until the end. And the poor guy, I should have made you a cup of coffee when we got home. Why the hell didn't I do that? I don't know. So, oh, you weren't staying here. You were staying at the hotel. That's why. Okay, so, yes, we do have pictures. Carlos Bouquet Bashudo is asking a very important question. Has anyone tried the Nyan camera stabilizer box? I am itching to try that. Do you know who's getting on the gyro bandwagon and uses and you could use GyroFlow, and you should? Canon. The company that gives you nothing, honey. Ain't nothing, honey. Don't get upset, Carlos. I know you got Canon and you love it. But the RX Mark III is got gyro data. It's recording gyro data. I almost fell out of my chair when I read that. And the C50, it has gyro data also. The C80, which none of us are going to buy the C80, but some of us can reach for the C50 instead of, let's see, what would you, instead of the Z8, you would get the C50. But if you want to drop it down to normal people, which is us, we're getting the A7V, the FX2s, and those, the RX3. So you can go to the festivals, Carlos, and take pictures of the girls dancing with those amazing costumes and stuff, and hand hold it. Give yourself a wider view, because when the gyro stabilization happens, it crops it in. Okay, the reason for that is it's moving the sensor or the image around, and if it moves it this way, guess what? You got black bars right here. Okay, and they would be kind of like a little triangle right here. If it moves this way or this way, there's the skewing. It will, if you ever watch the video on how it does it, your black bars appear, disappear, top, bottom, left, right. Well, you get rid of that by zooming the whole thing in, okay? And when you zoom the whole thing in, the black bars are happening outside of the frame. But that means your focal length is now closer than what you think it was. So if you're going to shoot with that in mind, which I do, which is exactly why the cameras that I use has the 10 to 20 millimeter lens. The 10 millimeter lens becomes a 16, and when you crop that down, it's going to be around 18 and a half, 19 millimeters. So I know that. So I fixed it. Instead of bitching and moaning and complaining, oh my God this and oh my God that, get the wider lens and put it on there. What would John Panay say? Nay, nay, don't do it the wrong way. Okay? God rest his soul. Probably gets talked more about here. He sits there up there and he watches the shows. How you doing, John Panay? What you up to up there? He passed away, in case you're wondering why I'm saying that. So Roy is talking to King, and Carlos is saying hi to Roy. But back to your original question, yeah, they're $99. It looks like a little cube, a little baby cute cube. Like take 4 cubes of sugar, paint them black, put a hot shoe on the bottom, make it so you could slide in the miniature SD, I don't know if it's miniature or full-size SD card, and then slide it into your hot shoe, okay? And then all your all that gets recorded, only the gyro data in that little black cube. So now you have an extra step. So you're going to take out the clip from here, put it in your computer, take out the clip from your little sugar cube, okay, and put that into GyroFlow. GyroFlow will recognize it, combine the two, synchronize them, and then so you can stabilize any camera you want. But if you buy an R6 R6 III, I'll get it right. If you buy an R6 III, you've got the gyro reading happening inside the camera. Hint, hint, Carlos. R6 III. And if you get flush with cash or I win the lotto, I'll get you the C50. Okay? That'll be a very nice camera too. So Carlos is saying hi to Roy. So Randy says, the dessert was delivered behind the coffee. That was something else, wasn't it? King says, music from the 80s are the greatest of all time, the GOAT. You want to know something, King? I agree with you. No disagreements, no arguments. But I really think I enjoy the 70s just as much, if not more, than the 80s. Had such great bands back then. So Roy is telling Carlos, you mean a hot Roy? A hot Roy? A hot Rod? A hot Roy? Randy is talking to Carlos. Peter and I have watched videos on it. Interesting product. Yeah, if I get a little flush with some money, I might get one to try it out, but I don't need it because I shoot very heavily with Sony. But, and here's a big but. Picture's got a big but. If I had the Nikon ZR, I might be tempted. Because that's the only thing that's missing. Is Nikon doesn't give you, hello Nikon, you do the, you're jealous of Canon. Well, Canon is putting gyro data in, okay? And people are going to wake up to that because I'm going to say it loud and clear. If I can get an R6 III in here, ooh, I still have a 16 millimeter, which is perfect. Canon 16 millimeter is an amazing lens. It's RF mount. Well, you have an RF mount camera. I'm talking to Carlos. Mac Ranger just did a review on this gyroflow stabilizer, and it looks interesting. What camera did he use? Did he use the Canon camera? I did see somebody do it. I don't remember who. Maybe it was Mac Ranger. I was going to say Matt Frazier. Matt Frazier used to be a friend of mine, and he took really good care of me. Our friendship was excellent. And then I got ghosted. Ghosted? Oh, wow. It actually hurt. Carlos is saying, you got to do a video on this, Randy. Yes, Randy. You have to do a video on that. I like that. Roy had a fire, and they turned off the power like they do in California. Oh, that's what happened there. That's why his power was turned off. I had one of my eyes filled with blood from an old shrapnel injury. I don't like when they do anything. There's two areas of my body that I don't like getting touched. The eyes are one of them, and you can think of what the other one is. Don't like to be touched there. Stay away from my eyes. Back! Randy's asking Carlos, are you going to use it on your Canon cameras? Well, he didn't say he was going to buy it. He wants you to test it first. How do you feel about TCL and Sony in the TV division? I don't really have an opinion. But that is expensive stuff at that point. I have a ZR, but the EVF doesn't work. Yeah, I have the same problem, Roy. Maybe they'll do an update and make it work, because I think everybody that gets the ZR says that their EVFs don't work. Power button fix. Here we go. When turning the camera on, the light is on, then went off. Placing the camera in the bag, I accidentally turned it on. Fix is now the light stays on when the camera's on, I'm guessing, with the firmware update. So if the camera's on, your light will be on. If the camera's off, the light will be off. And that's the way it should be. I'm kind of surprised. But at least they addressed it. That's a good one for them. Roy says he exercises King going to and from the refrigerator. So King, you and Roy seem to be good buddies. Maybe you could get together on exercises. That was the original plates. Oh, the original platies. I know what he's talking about. The exercise. Roy says, I exercise by lifting a bigger camera. Randy says, I exercise having Lucky. Oh my God. He keeps me in shape. That's his dog. I feel hurt muscles and bruises. So Randy at his age went and got, I call him an adolescent dog. He's bigger than a baby, but not quite a teenager yet. So he digs and he runs and he pulls and he jumps on Randy, and he's gotten, what, 50, 60 pounds? If not bigger, and Randy will be watching TV. Boom! Incoming! And he lands right on Randy. And then Randy's got to fix everything. He topples, knocks over, chews, beats up, digs up his cable. He had to change cable companies because Lucky dug up all the cables going to his house, the fiber, and they wouldn't dig it deeper. So Randy said, the heck with you, I'll change companies. And he did. He went and changed cable companies. So Lucky is his exercise. All of it rolled up into one. King says, I've been enjoying doing photography on the D4S. I'm thinking about picking up a D6. They're very nice. I had the D3X, and I did maybe about 10, 15 weddings on that camera, the D800E, because I wanted the filters that they build in gone. Rumors that Nikon is working on a 120-300 lens coming this year. Somebody asked about that. So Jim says that Woody and I live pretty close. So it's got to be the western. You're not in Virginia Beach in Norfolk. I have relatives there. So you're further west from that. So Roy and King are talking, and they're talking about Nikons, which is right up Roy's alley. And Randy's asking Roy about one of the guys that's probably on the other channel that Randy goes on. Jeff is in the house. Good day, Peter and all. Hope we are all well. Yes. Roy says there is a new gyro gadget add-on that fits in the hot shoe. That's what we were talking about all this time. Good morning. Did you just wake up? It's that Nyan, whatever it's called, $99, and it records at the same time that you're recording in your camera, but it's not recording video. It's just recording the gyro movements of the camera, and then it synchronizes that. And when we want Randy to go out and test it out. So Randy is saying, Jim, you should go out with Woody when he goes to take pictures of the eagles. Well, he should, but you guys don't understand how busy Jim is. Jim just got into some really big work, and it's going to tie him up so bad. Randy, I don't think so. He's retired. Most of all, his cameras is bigger. Jeff is asking, Roy, how are you doing down your way? Are you in the fire area? Yeah, they even turned his power off. He said that earlier in this show, Jeff. Before you came in, he said that they turned the power off because of the fires. So King is talking to Roy. Roy is talking to King. Roy is talking to Jeff. Roy and King are talking again. And Jim says, Randy, I would love to go out with Woody for the eagle release, but you got to get up really, 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 really early. That ain't gonna happen here. I'll just wind up not going to sleep. And surprise, I'm up. So I put a quarter of a teaspoon of the coffee in here, which is down from the half a teaspoon. And now it's been, holy crap, it's almost 2 hours. This was to be another short show. We just specialize in short shows here, don't we? And I'm feeling it's coming down, okay? I'm feeling a little more sedated now. So the caffeine hit does work. I like the iced coffee in a glass. It makes it, I don't know, mentally it makes it taste better. Pop, 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 pop. So Palmeracia is saying, hi, Peter. Palmeracia. Palmeracia. What a nice name. Palmeracia. How you doing, Palmeracia? Thank you for coming in and saying hi and not just lurking. Love you. Where are you anyway? I appreciate the hello. It makes me feel good. You know, I sit here, I'm in an empty room, just me. I got 4 4K cameras running. They're all aiming at me except the one that's aiming at my hands from above. And I'm talking and I'm interacting with you, but there's no humans in here. So when you say hi, it feels good. Gyro is like IBIS on steroids. Gyro data is like, oh, come on, Roy. What's that stick? And you put it on, it makes it stable. Gimbal. Don't get older, Roy. Don't get older. Okay. And, yeah, gyro is like IBIS on steroids. Roy says, focal length doesn't change, but field of view does. 100% right. Boy, I used to get into so many arguments. And Jim is, get out of the line! Get out of the line! Why are you standing in the line? That's John Pinay. They go to the McDonald's, and it's like they've been in this long line in McDonald's, and you've been to McDonald's a million times, and all of a sudden the person there he's going to start reading them a quarter pounder with cheese, a quarter pounder without cheese. If you're going to read the stinking menu, get out of the line. Don't stand in the line. Get out of the line. He's still funny. I try to hunt down ones that I haven't seen. Even the ones that I have seen, I watch them over. And that other guy, Michael, he's not effeminate, but can become that. Michael somebody. And he's funny too. And he just did one with an airplane where they brought a person and they imitated an airplane cockpit, and then they put him and they sat him in the plane. But the front of the plane was designed, it was on the stage. where it would lower down and you were suddenly sitting in front of the audience. So this guy thinks he's in an airplane cabin. They lower the whole front wall, and he's standing there within a crowd of 3,000 people. Not standing, he's sitting there in a crowd of 3,000 people. Me, I'm a ham. Give me a damn microphone, and here we go, gonna ride around. Here she comes, around the mountain, here she comes. We'll be riding around the mountain when she comes. We'll be riding around the mountain. No, this mic is not on. It's just for effect. The mic is on, that's on my head. See? You put a mic in my hand and I take off singing. I take off singing. I even have a button for that. Watch. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. And I get to sing in my own show. Okay. Just had to do it. Oh, King. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect timing. He's laughing at me. He's laughing at something else, honestly. But I just needed a laughter avatar or whatever they call those emojis, and he provided it. Good one for you. Good one for you. I only shoot video on a tripod, so I'd like but don't need gyro on the ZR. King says, Uncle Peter, I know you're too young, but what do you think of Victor Fleming's? I don't know who that is. Why would you ask me about his cinematography? What is going on in your brain? Tell me. I want to know your inner workings. So maybe I do know who it is, but I just don't recognize it by the name. So I could take it or leave it, King. I could take it or leave it. Doesn't matter. I would like the eye injections I have to have each month then. Oh, you wouldn't like the eye. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's read English. We both speak English, right? You wouldn't like the eye injection. No. Oh, my God. I don't like my eye. Either eye. The ones up here or the other eye on another part of my body. I don't want that touched. Nothing. Get your hands off of my eyes. When you go for an eye exam and they put that thing on to measure for the, for the glaucoma, oh my God, I almost have a panic attack when they're doing that. So Carlos says, Randy, I don't have much need for it since I use the Pocket 3, which is a good camera for vlogging. Randy, you still got that one? I might want to try that out. Send it over for a week or two. No, it'll just give me more work to do. That's fine. You tell me how it is. That's much better. Nikon was trying to save battery life with the power button light turning off after 10 seconds. Oh, is that what was going on? So you would power on the battery, or you would power on the camera, and then to save power, they would shut down what they thought was unnecessary electrical drain. Cannot be a lot of power that has to be LCD. They're not using a tungsten light in there. So I'm glad they fixed that. That was what I call dumb thinking. The wrong place to try to fix things. And Roy asks the same thing that I'm saying. How much power can you possibly save with one little tiny LED? It's not even a tickle in your pickle. I mean, there's just not much at all. Thank you, Randy. He just said it. Good for you. Good for you. Look at me. I saw that. Now it's in my mind. I love the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo. Roy says the selective imagery channel. That's the one I was thinking. Roy goes on there too. Yes. Big hand for Roy. Big hand for Randy. They go on a channel called Selective Imagery where they talk about pictures. Oh, I'm sorry. They talk about pictures for hours and hours and hours, and they'll segregate. Oh, I wrote something I'll do it on Friday. I wrote something, all these thoughts. Of course, I've seen it on another video. It's not all original. But anyway, the selective imagery channel. You will find Roy there. You will find Randy. And I don't know who else. So Carlos is saying D-Log is pretty impressive. Photo Lounge channel. No, it's called Selective Imagery. Unless they change the name. Roy, I might put that gyro on a spring to see what happens. You'd have to buy it, but it has to go together with the video. You've got the gyro data. What are you going to do with it? Hello? I've got it recorded, but it just ain't doing much. I like how nice this Olympus has really tuned in to give me a very nice picture. Randy says to Carlos, I have not used that yet. Now I have another idea for a video. Thanks, Carlos. That's excellent. It was 48 degrees Celsius and no AC. That's pretty heavy. Drinking from a jar. It looks like hooch. Well, since I don't know what hooch is, I hope it's cool. I like it. Carlos says, just heard that the new Pocket 4 isn't making any changes to the sensor, only making it more functional. Did they make it to a 1-inch sensor? If they at least made it to a 1-inch sensor, that is not that bad. But if they're still at the 2/3 or whatever that is, they should have upped it because they already have that going. Words are already escaping my brain. I know that feeling. Can't afford this A7V yet. Wing Frank Clipper. So tell me, you wait. Wing Frank Clipper, where have I seen you? Maybe nowhere. But thank you for saying hello. I appreciate it. And it's better than lurking, and it makes me feel good. Somebody new has come in. Hey, you guys that are watching and lurking, if you're not subscribed, I normally don't say to subscribe, but I'm only 6 subscribers away from 500. And at 500, it opens the door for something. I'm not sure what, but I need to get to 500 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button, BUTTON. It's free. They don't charge you anything to do that. So yeah, you guys that want to help me out, make sure you're subscribed, okay? Because I just got to get 6 subscribers to get into whatever it is that they're trying to tell me. So I want it for my YouTube channel. Should I get it, sir? You're just being polite. Don't sir me. We're family here. You can call me Peter. Or if you're a young'un, you can call me Uncle Peter or Grandpa. Yeah, the A7V would be a camera that you can use for years. I mean, it will meet you at every step as you learn something new, and then you go, gee, I wonder if I can do that in my camera. And if you have an A7V, the answer is mostly yes. There's only a very few things that it cannot do, and you probably would never get into it. One of it is the lenses that squeeze. They're called anamorphic. It's the lenses that squeeze the image, and then when you get it into your computer, it will de-squeeze. So the A7V doesn't do that. Big deal, okay? So yeah, it is one of the more advanced cameras. I would say if they're not calling it a professional camera, I would very easily be able to shoot. I'm a retired wedding photographer. I would very easily look at all the card slots I got for backups, because you would never want to go to a bride and say, I lost your wedding files. They got destroyed. Well, you shoot one copying the other, and then, God forbid, one craps out, the other one is still there. Okay? So you've got that built in. Let's say you become professional overnight, Frank. So I don't know whether to call you Frank or Wingy. Hey, Wingy. Chicken wings? Kentucky Fried Chicken. Here I come. But anyway, yep, this is an excellent, superb camera. If you want to get the same thing, it's got a few other things in it that this one doesn't have, and vice versa, but you're at the same level. You could look at the FX2. The FX2 is the camera I own. I picked the FX2. This camera does not belong to me. It's on loan so that I can talk to you and I can make videos about it, and people can't say, you're doing all that bullshit talking about the camera and you don't even have it in your hands. Here it is. It's right in my hand. It's kissing it's giving me, it's giving me a kiss. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so I have it as a loaner. I own the FX2. I was just not smart enough to grab it and bring it over here before I started this live show. So both cameras. The FX2 will be a little bit lower in price, and it's the one where the viewfinder is all the way over to the one side. Let's turn this around. The viewfinder is all the way over to the side where my index finger is, and it goes up and it comes down. So even though the FX2 doesn't have it does have the flippy screen, so you can turn it around and do your videos and talk to it. Yeah, you can see yourself. The FX2 has that, but it doesn't have the one that can go up like this and go down like that. Okay, but it takes care of that by the viewfinder actually being able to tilt up 90 degrees down, so you can look down into the camera and then go back down. And it has a fan built in for overheating for long type of work, where this does not have that fan. But I really believe they have overcome their heating problems with the A7V. So the point is, you cannot go wrong with either one of those two cameras. So you can look at your budget and where you can save a few dollars, and that's where you do it. Okay? Both of them will serve you fantastically. No questions asked. You got that, Frank? Peter, you might enjoy Nate Bergergatsy, clean comedy. Hope to see him in person. Oh, I like watching comedy. When I get depressed or feeling down, I will purposely seek out one of two types of videos. One is comedy, and there is some pretty nice comics out there. And then the other is, I don't know how to classify it. I call it church singing, where the church sings, okay? And I'll just lay in my bed or sit in my chair and, He is Lord, He is Lord. He is risen from the dead and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ, He is Lord. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. See, that picks me up. You just get in there and sing, and I'm a Christian, so I like singing Christian music. And then I like to listen to when the whole church sings. There's like a fullness in your earbuds if you put them on. That's just like, oh, wow. It's like being at a concert. So Randy says, thank you for watching. Stay safe and keep smiling. Cheers. All right, so Randy is telling me it is time to go. Okay. The same Victor Fleming, Wizard of Oz. Oh, well, yes, I like the Wizard of Oz. Every time that's on, I will watch it. So if that's who it is, what are you asking me, King? Do I like his movies? Yes. I do. I really, really do. Roy says they even had that Peter Gregg guy as a guest one time. I did go on there maybe once or twice. Selective Imagery. I don't know why they would get Peter. He's a nutcase, okay? And he doesn't shut up for a minute. Once he starts talking, it's unbelievable. He just doesn't shut up. Roy says, I love the 1-inch sensor, so he answered my question. King says, Uncle Peter is way too young, and is into the latest TikTok trend. I've been thinking it'd be nice to have Uncle Peter on Selective Imagery. So that's where you're on, King, okay? All right, so that's where you get your shot of cameras. Okay, got it. But I was thinking if I was going to slap on some quickies, there's little blurbs in this video that I did tonight where I could take out 15, 30 seconds and put it on TikTok. I don't have a TikTok account, but maybe I'll look into getting one. I lost track. I thought they were going to shut it down, but it looks like it was bought out, and I don't know who sold it. I don't know who bought it, but TikTok is an interesting thing. It would be a plaything. This is where I do my business. Roy says there isn't a bad camera these days. I go by the feel and how reliable a camera is. You've been feeling the cameras again, huh? You're going to wind up in jail. Stop feeling them. Yeah, that's very true. It's hard to find a bad camera these days. So, I have a question, and then I'll tell you if there's a bad camera. Okay, I don't know the answer, and probably the show we're going to end it pretty soon. And I'm, not up on the information. So the OM system camera, the OM1, the new one, Mark II, Mark III, whatever they have, does it have a full-size HDMI, or does that $2,500 camera have the small mini HDMI? If it has a small mini HDMI still, because they came out with the Mark II, I believe, and they kept their top-end flagship camera a small HDMI. Even if you don't use HDMI, which is the cable that you plug in that you can connect to the computer, which is down there, which is why I'm pointing down there, that would be a bad camera. I would label it a bad camera. So, Palmerasia. Hi, Peter. I'm Bella. Hi, Bella. Nice to see you. Bella, Bella, I love you, my Bella. How you doing? How you doing? What's going on out there, Bella? So Bella's here tonight. Our Bella's with us now. Bella, 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 Bella means, what does Bella mean? It means beautiful. Bella means beautiful, and Bella is beautiful. Hello, hello, beautiful. See, I even added my church in there for you. King says, hi, big boy, what you doing? Have you had a chance to test the A9 Mark III? Thoughts? That would be a camera that would be on my radar. However, I would have to check and see, okay, and since I'm in no rush to need or want another camera at this point. Okay, if the A9 Mark III does not have the XR Mark II processor in it, I would wait for the A9 Mark 4. Okay, so the Mark IV would be the one that I would look for. But the fact that it has global shutter, winner, winner, chicken dinner. It is more useful than most people think. It's useful in 2 areas. No rolling shutter. What's the other one? Come on, King, come on. Big boy, you can do it. It's the synchronization for your flash. You can sync at any speed on the A9 Mark III. So yeah, the problem for me, it's the price. I can get 2 FX Mark IIs. I can almost get 2 of the A7 Mark IVs. Okay, so I am not in desperate need for global shutter, and I'm not in desperate need for synchronization at any speed. But if I was an active wedding photographer or event photographer where I was shooting flash, or I was shooting people that moved quickly, or their hands moved, I don't want my hand to move and it to bend like it's broken. I would probably engage the A9 Mark III as my main shooting camera strictly because of that global shutter. However, and this is and it's a deal breaker, if it does not have the XR Mark II, it could have the XR, okay, but I would want the XR Mark II. That changes everything pertaining to the heat management and the power consumption and whatever else, little magical things, the ability to push the focusing greater. So the A9 Mark III is a hidden gem, but they charge for that very, very highly. Okay. Roy says, I want to see a 4-inch screen like the ZR on the Blackmagic Pocket on every camera. Yeah, I like the one on that. Randy, you're a troublemaker, Randy. Palomerasia, he will remember you. He will sing to you when he reads your comments. He knows me too well. He's kind of like a brother. He is a brother. I like Fluffy. He is funny. I'm going to have to look him up now. Thank you, Jim. Okay, Roy and King are talking and talking and talking. Oh, wait, I want to get in on that conversation. So Roy is telling King, I tried the A9, great camera, but I had many flash problems, and the dynamic range was a bit lacking for that many MPS. Well, seeing that it comes from Roy, and I don't want to piss him off, I'm not going to tell him he's all wrong. But he's all wrong. Okay, so King and Roy are talking. The OM system, OM1 Mark II, does not feature a full-size HDMI. Here's your bad camera. We were looking for a bad camera. That would be a camera that I would say, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If you're going into Micro Four Thirds, get the Lumix, the S5. I'm running one here. The S5 Mark II, full-size HDMI, anamorphic, open gate. What? And it's a lot cheaper than the OM1 Mark II. Okay, it is equipped with a micro HDMI Type D output for video. Due to the smaller, more fragile nature of this port, it is. He means to say it is not recommended. Okay, I know Randy. He's had the HDMI break on his E10. So he means to say it is not recommended. Yeah, and I mean to say don't buy it. I don't recommend it myself either. I would not tell you to buy that camera. I would tell you to buy an S5 Mark II, and you would be miles ahead. And it's got a fan built in too. That's just icing on the cake. So Roy and King talking to each other. Randy, to use a cable clamp or cage to prevent damage. Yeah. King says HDMI is for TV sets. I want SDI, but I understand it's a task to put on mirrorless cameras. Well, the problem is it's never taken. SDI is far superior to HDMI. First of all, it locks in, and it's not going to wiggle even if it's the full size. Second of all, it could go hundreds of feet. HDMI, if you get to 40 feet, you're pushing it, and you're going to drop out. So the SDI, is it SDI or SGI? I think it's SDI. Okay, is far superior. But I can't think of a single camera that's got in regular cameras like we use. Not talking about, over in the broadcast industry. I can't think of one that has adopted that. Okay, now, I do have but it's not SDI. Okay. I do have an HDMI to Cat6 converter. Okay, and it's powered, it takes power. So I can go 75 feet, and on one end you plug HDMI, and from the HDMI in your camera, you plug that into this little cute box, looks like a box of cigarettes. Okay? Then you run a Cat6 cable wherever you want. I could actually put one out in the yard if I want to do one on the patio, a live show from the patio. But then I can't see the comments and all that, all right, because it would be in here and I would be out there. Out there is that way. That's where the door is. So I thought for a second it was SDI, but it's not. Where did I leave off? Oh, King and Roy are talking. I just found his SDI. Roy said, when I worked, I was always overpaid enough to buy any camera. Things have changed now. Okay. Randy, A9 Mark III sensor, type full frame stack CMOS XMR RS with global shutter. Yep. If time went backwards and I got people calling me, Peter, I need a wedding. It's going to be next month, and I'd buy the A9 Mark III. Okay. Remember, when the bride throws the bouquet, that's a high speed. Many times the arm will be bent. Okay. And when the garter is thrown, the rice is thrown. There, as dull and boring as weddings can be, then you got the dancing, which would be the flash, and you'd be able to sync at much higher speeds, and you could bring home some really beautiful photography, and it would be the camera's ability that would allow you to do that. Okay, so we're not talking about, do you think it's pretty, or do you think it's not so pretty? Do you like where the buttons are? No, I need it to do work for me. No rolling shutter and synchronize at high flash speeds. Tell me which cameras can do that. Oh, there's one. And that is, we're talking pictures now, not even videos. And then when you add video to the mix, okay, it's the winner chicken dinner camera. Now, it's not for every housewife, and it's not for all you guys sitting out there watching me. No, this one, A7 Mark V, this is your camera. Or if you're a little more technology, FX2. Roy is talking back and forth. Red figured out how to get good dynamic range with global shutter. Amazing. But I wouldn't be shooting with whatever. Open Gate is going to be the next big selling point this year, for what it's worth. Yeah, people use that and talk about Open Gate a lot. You guys already know what I feel about and how I feel about Open Gate. It's nothing more than you stepping back 2 or 3 feet and you've got Open Gate. And I mean 2 or 3 feet, not 10 feet back, okay? Because then you can crop as you please with what you're shooting. But if you want the label, I have Open Gate. Look, if I was selling a camera on Marketplace or somewhere else and it had open gate, I would list that right up at the top. Open gate. This camera has open gate. What are you waiting for? I need to learn Espanol if I'm going to visit Uncle Peter in Miami. Hola, chico. Yo tengo mucho hambre. It means I'm hungry. I want more coffee. Most HDMI cables are restricted and limit the resolution. That's why when you get HDMI, if you're going to be what they call a careful shopper, you want to get HDMI 2.1. That will open up what Roy is talking about. But for our use here, none of us are going to be shooting, well, most of us, ProRes over HDMI, where you need that high bandwidth. But if you do, okay, or even if you don't and you want to be in the modern arena, you get HDMI 2.1 in your cable. It's going to cost more, okay, but you'll have the newest and the bluest. Roy is having a flash. She's having a mental flashback. Veronica? Oh, thank God we're not in that age anymore. Bop, 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 bop. All right, guys. We have made it to the bottom. And who is going to bring us out? Ba-da-ba-bam, Randy. All right. Wednesday night. I'm enjoying it. This was quite a 2-hour and a 17-minute show. Amazing. When you start talking, and it's not a lot of people. Well, we do have 10 people in here. Okay. And we're able to talk, and I hope it doesn't get boring on you. Maybe if I start talking about something that you don't like, that it will actually be boring, but I hope it wasn't. Can I enjoy myself for one quick minute? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody with a birthday this week. Happy birthday to you. Don't freeze your butt off. Don't freeze your butt off. Stay warm and inside. Happy birthday to you. All right, guys. Thank you for getting together with me. You see what I mean? I'm proving the point by just getting together with you and enjoying each other's company, that this is not a driven channel. Maybe my big channel is more driven, okay? But this one is more laid back. We enjoy each other. We can chit-chat. We get to know each other and our personalities, and it's a good thing. And on that note, I will say good night to everybody. I think I need to find the button. Wait. Mookie's in here. I didn't see Mookie. When did you sneak in here? But I made it in for the last few seconds. Were you working, Mook? I will catch the rest on the rewind. Take care, everybody. Thanks for coming in, Mook. It's special when you do that. I appreciate it. And I like it. I actually love it. I ain't gonna lie, I love it. So, on that note, we will say good night. And the Mook, you just snuck in under the wire, didn't you, big boy, huh? All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll catch you later. Friday night, God willing, and the bridge is not up. My goal is the sky and not the grave. Bye.